Have you ever noticed that for the longest time in WWE, Extreme Rules hasn't been very extreme? Like, the main event will be contested in Extreme Rules, which means anything goes, except pinfalls must happen in the ring, apparently, so I guess the match has some rules. But then the rest of the pay-per-view will just have normal matches contested under normal rules. Look, what I'm trying to say is that after a few years, this is one of those pay-per-views that feels like it's more of an annoyance for WWE to actually book around than a show that could and should be a hardcore variety show. A bunch of silly, different stips for a one-night-only special gala feel, and not a Demon King flopping on the floor like an electrocuted salmon and falling on his tits after some unsatisfactory ring maintenance. Under the Triple H era, things are looking exceedingly promising for Extreme Rules. Bayley for champion, pretty please. And next week we'll cover the best matches, but for now, let's have a quick look back at some of the worst that Extreme Rules ever chucked up on our shoes. I'm Adam, hailing from partsFUNknown, and here are the 10 worst Extreme Rules matches ever. And while you're here, please like and subscribe. We've done a load of lists with a bunch of, hey, this is the best matches and these are the worst ones. We've done that with Elimination Chamber, Hell in a Cell, WrestleMania. Give it a watch. What else are you going to do? Nothing, that's what. Number 10, Seth Rollins vs. Dolph Ziggler 2018. Way to start off with a match that was entirely not the fault of those in the ring. F*** us for wanting the IC title to main event a show, I guess. If you were to put a pair of lads on a pay-per-view and say, go a half hour and tear the house down, Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler would be a solid choice for those two. See the end of 2014 Survivor Series, after all. But because this is Extreme Rules, where just tearing the house down is not extreme enough, this was a 30-minute Iron Man match. Not only has WWE had a little difficulty working out good ways of booking their Iron Man matches for the last decade plus, but this match also included every WWE fan's favorite thing, apparently, counting. But whereas fans counting down is a benefit, you know, in the Royal Rumble, in an Iron Man match, where dudes are just trying to wrestle a fucking match, it's not in fact beneficial to count down and make a buzzer sound every time 60 seconds pass. Then they took the timer away and the fans booed because someone took their toy away. The expensive toy they were smashing against the ground like fucking toddlers. Number 9, Tag Team Turmoil Extreme Rules 2010. WWE had a real problem with their tag division in 2010, problem they felt the need to accentuate by beating the entire division in one match, thanks to their love of Tag Team Turmoil matches. Extreme Rules 2010 exposed WWE's lack of tag depth in a big way. Keep in mind this was still 1 month before the debut of the Usos, so this tag division consisted of John Morrison and my personal favourite wrestler ever, R-Truth, Mark Henry and MVP, don't they go together like chalk and cheese, the Hart Dynasty, and the reigning unified tag team champions and ludicrously named Show Miz. This match was an impromptu tag team turmoil match as well, with The Miz egging on Teddy Long to just keep adding tag teams to this tag team match player, and Show Miz dispatched Truth and Wisdom in just 3 minutes and 13 seconds, which is somehow less time than their WrestleMania opener, before beating MVP and Henry in less than 2 minutes and losing to the Hart Dynasty in 11 seconds. The Hart Dynasty would win the tag titles the next night on Raw, and Show Miz would go their separate ways, but not before contributing to this damning display of apathetic tag team booking. Number 8, Cody Rhodes vs. The Big Show 2012. And you know what? This one is a bit of fun, kind of. Big Show's run as Intercontinental Champion was a short one and a bit naff, winning the title from Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 28, so it is appropriate that the match in which he lost the title was also short and a bit naff, and a bit of a whoopsie-poopsie. At Extreme Rules 2012, Cody and Tall Paul took part in a tables match for the IC title, and depending on who you talk to, this either had the best or worst finish to a tables match in history. After 4 minutes of nothing much, Big Show went to step over the top rope, only for Cody to drop kick his foot backwards, resulting in Biggles losing his balance and just stepping through a table at ringside. With a rare bit of brilliant camera work from WWE capturing his reaction, which can only be described as that trombone noise from The Price is Right. It is very funny, but also a bit of a wet fart in terms of a tables match. Sort of like a, well, we have to do this finish at least once, probably, so let's just do it, just to say that we have, rather than anything that's, you know, good. Number 7, John Cena vs. The Big Show, Extreme Rules 2009. While Big Show's match with Cody Rhodes was fun and all laughs, his 200th match in the worst destined to do this forever rivalry ever between him and John Cena was no fun and even less laughs. After the pair wrestled at Judgment Day 2009, where the story of the match was that Big Show was too big of a show for Cena to put in the STF, they ran back that classic at Extreme Rules 2009 in a submission match. You know what the one exciting part of these Cena Big Show matches was? The bit where Cena wins with the AA, because the Big Show is big, and even though they rerun that shit more than The Simpsons, it's fun to see Strong Boy lift Big Boy. So by slapping a submission match stipulation on it, they effectively killed the excitement that comes with the impressive feat, because there was no pinfalls. Submission matches are usually more boring than standard matches to begin with, and Cena and Big Show aren't exactly the technicians you would need to make the stipulation exciting. Also, they went 19 minutes. How fucking dare you? Number 6, the Eye for an Eye match 2020. If it isn't my old friend from the stupidest one-off wrestling stipulations list, go and watch that list if you haven't. You'll like it. The Eye for an Eye match is difficult to place because, as people have rightly pointed out, the work involved in the match is very good. It's got Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio. How could it not be good? Well, you see, the problem comes from not being able to suspend your disbelief for even a second, because what sort of sanctioned sport is won by, checks notes, optic surgery? Watching famous good guy Rey Mysterio struggle to impale Seth Rollins' eye with a broken kendo stick, perhaps in an effort to pull it out like an olive on a toothpick, it's just too much, man. And that's before Rey holds a CGI gumball to his head while Seth vomits everywhere. Again, the work involved keeps this match from being closer to the very end of the garbage spectrum, but it'll go down as one of the dumbest and most desperate ideas WWE ever had. Number 5, the Ambrose Asylum 2016. It is a wonder how WWE continually messed up the concept of a steel cage match. Put them in a box and let them fight. Stop running away. Just f***ing fight. Much less how they managed to mess up the concept of one with weapons all over it. The Ambrose Asylum match was a culmination of Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose's 2016 rivalry, one everyone tried to forget about before they were stabbing each other in the eye in AEW years later. Why was it bad? Because someone decided this blow-off match to establish Dean's brutality. He wasn't really brutal by that point. I mean, even so, they named the match after him. It was supposed to be his coming out party before he wins the WWE Championship. Are you sure it's time for yuck yucks? Every time Jericho would grab a weapon, Ambrose would grab a comedy prop. Ambrose swung nunchucks around like your 9-year-old cousin with a Wii remote. To be fair, there was a thumbtack spot, which Jericho took like a champ, but it's very weird after all that. Ha ha. This could have been a great way to finally propel Ambrose to his WWE Championship win a month later, but instead it was a perfect representation of the goofball antics WWE projected onto dear old Dean. Number 4, the Hog Pen match 2009. Fuck off. Just fuck off, though. Sometimes something on pay-per-view doesn't end up being pay-per-view worthy for one reason or another, but usually it isn't worth getting worked up over. The Hog Pen match between Santino Marella in a dress, Vicky and Chavo Guerrero. It just hurts my feelings by existing. This match did not have one single shred of hope of being good, and yet WWE brass still made the choice to make people pay it to see it at Extreme Rules 2009. I'm not good enough at maths to work out how much money people paid per second of this 2-minute 43-second slot fest, but whatever the answer is, it's too much. What more can you say? It was bad on a legendary level. Vicky Guerrero is a pig, says WWE. Roll in the mud, pig. Oink. Santino Marella isn't a woman like we know what a woman is, says WWE. Roll in the mud, pig. Pig, pig. Number 3, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler versus Jack Swagger and Michael Cole 2011. There are people who will call Vince McMahon the greatest wrestling promoter of all time, and he certainly is the most successful, but he's also the same dude who watched Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole's all-time WrestleMania stinker and said, let's do it 2 more times. So who's to say who's a genius? WWE had a weird fascination with non-wrestlers wrestling in matches, despite that working approximately 0.1% of the time. And mind you, that does come with a 0.1% margin of error. At Extreme Rules 2011, we got Chapter 2 of Michael Cole-related misery as he teamed up with WrestleMania trainer Jack Swagger to face Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross in a country whipping match. They whipped each other. Michael Cole was wrapped in bubble wrap. Jim Ross was embarrassed again. It was just a miserable time in the middle of a feud that fans had been done with even before the computer-ruined WrestleMania. Number 2, the Swamp Fight 2020. Boneyard match, great fun. Firefly Funhouse, perfect storytelling. The Swamp Fight at the horror show at Extreme Rules, you broke it. No more cinematic matches. This is why we can't have nice things. back to Winnipeg. Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt's 2020 rivalry was really quite surprisingly bad. It really doesn't feel like it should have been, and it didn't help that this was the Universal title program right before Roman Reigns returned. No wonder we were excited to see him. After the B-movie camp of the Boneyard and the art house meta of the Funhouse, was a swamp fight WWE's attempt at actual horror? Because if it was, you did it wrong. Braun showed up at the old Wyatt family swamp where he was confronted by an evil version of himself, as if Luke had just wandered through the trees on Dagobah. He got tied up and interrogated by cult leader Bray before a fight eventually broke out, and Braun was dragged down to the depths of the swamp where he presumably drowned, and the Fiend then appeared. Look, even the Funhouse had a fucking pinfall in it, so you knew when it was over and who won. Also, there was a projection of Alexa Bliss, because she and Braun were in a mixed tag team 2 years earlier. I don't fucking know. But speaking of Alexa, number 1, Bayley versus Alexa Bliss 2017. It takes a special kind of effort to systematically ruin every potential top babyface handed to you from NXT, but there is yet to be a more damaging match to the run of a called-up NXT babyface than Bayley's match with Alexa Bliss at Extreme Rules 2017. You know, the one where they made Bayley afraid of a kendo stick. There could have been a great story here of Bayley not wanting to resort to using a weapon to get her win and fighting valiantly through the pain of her opponent not beholding to the same moral standards, but no, Bayley was afraid of the stick, like she was holding a fucking snake. This kendo stick on a pole match killed any hope Bayley had of regaining the love and respect that made her one of the best champions NXT ever had. The fans turned on her real hard after this, and just in terms of sheer damage, it takes top spot as the worst match in Extreme Rules history. Just this kiss my ass. And that's our list. What's your least favorite Extreme Rules match? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and share this video around if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to partsFUNknown for more silly wrestling content, and never forget to jam that jam.